Photo sharing mobile apps have been pretty popular lately. People just love taking photos and sharing them. One of the common features that many of these photo sharing apps have is the ability to add effects to your photographs. You can add color effects, some text, random objects, and borders. In this video, we're going to use Photoshop to add some random photo effects that are kind of similar to some of the things you see in these photo sharing apps. I'll start off with this image of my dog marking his territory and turn it into this. We've got this stylized color effect, some text over here, some sunshine, and this nice simple border. Let's begin. I'll start off by adding a black and white adjustment layer. And then I'm going to duplicate the background layer and name this one color. I'm going to move it to the top and change the blending mode to overlay. This is going to bring back the color, but give it a more stylized effect. Next, I'll be adding the grassy text effect. I'll duplicate the background layer again and name this one grassy text. Then I'll move it up to the top. Then using the text tool, I'm going to add some text. The next thing I'll do is make a selection out of this text. I can easily do that by holding down the Command or Control key and then clicking on the text layer thumbnail. And as you can see, I've made a selection out of the text. Now that I have the selection, I can go ahead and delete the text layer. So what I want to do now is create a layer mask on the grassy text layer so that I get some text that's filled in with the grassy part of the image that you see here. Basically, I'm cutting out this layer into the shape of this text selection. So make sure that the grassy text layer is selected. Then click on the Add Layer Mask button and you'll see a new layer mask in the same shape as the text. You'll see a little bit of the text already, but it's not nearly as visible as I'd like it to be. So I'm going to add a drop shadow. Now you see the text become a little more visible. But I still want the text to stand out some more, so I'm going to give it a bit more color. To do that, I'll add a color overlay. For the color, I'll choose yellow. And for the blending mode, I'll choose soft light. Also, I want to round out the corners of the text. I don't want them to be too sharp. So I'll go back to the layer mask, and then I'll go to filter, and then I'll choose noise and then median. I'll give it a radius of 3 pixels, and you'll see the corners round out. Then I'll click OK to apply the changes. Next, we'll add the sunshine. So I'm going to choose the Shape tool. In the options bar, make sure that Shape Layers is selected, and choose the Polygon tool. Let's bring out the geometry options, check star, and indent the sides by 75%. For the number of sides, let's put in 20. Then click and drag to draw the shape. So now we have a shape layer. Let's soften this up a bit by going to the Masks panel. Shape layers make use of vector masks, which you can adjust by going to the Masks panel. I'll increase the feather to about 5 pixels to create a softer effect. And then I'll move it over to this corner. If you want to change a shape layer's color, you can double click on the shape layer's thumbnail and choose the new color that you'd like. And finally, we add the border. Create a new layer. Then using the Paint Bucket tool, fill it with black. Then switch to the rectangular marquee tool and make a selection that's a little smaller than the actual canvas size. Then go to Select, Modify, Feather. I'll give it a value of 8 pixels. This will soften up the edges of the selection. Then I'll go ahead and add a layer mask. This creates a mask based on the selection that we just made. However, I actually want the black color as a border, instead of having it cover most of the image. Since we're using a mask, then we can just go to the Masks panel and choose Invert. So now we have the border, and the image is now complete.